Hi, welcome to Shrink Wrapped. I'm Allison Colorosi here with Dr. David Colorosi. We are in episode 26.
Right on time.
We've had some discussions, had a heart-to-heart, and we have committed to doing Shrink Wrapped once a week through September.
Through September, we'll do it once a week because we keep saying, oh, yeah, now we're really going to double down. And then we wait 4 weeks and upload a new video. So we're going to wait until we're going to go once a week. We commit to it once a week all the way through September. You are doing the book club.
Yeah.
Right?
I just want to, this is not an excuse, but an excuse. Don't you feel like summer days are so long? Like the light before the kids go to bed, it's just like, 10 o'clock.
And I do think I seriously think we should do something where either like we should do something where you don't feel like you have to get dressed up every time. Because like right now it's 10:30 at night and Allison has to put makeup on.
I didn't do my hair though. We are in a battle royale with thumb sucking. And that's where we're at right now, and I think that's why we're tired.
I see. I feel like if you did it my way, we'd win the battle faster. I have the nuclear version.
I think I won today.
So first of all, we'll give you some logistics stuff, but let me just talk about this thumb sucking. So Enzo sucks his thumb like chronically. I don't know if all kids did this, but
I did it. He
sucks it like it's nonstop. So we bought this, I don't know what it is, like a little bit of poison that you put on their finger.
Poison.
But it tastes really bad. So we put it on his thumb, and he was very unhappy with how that tasted. So tonight we were in bed, and I was like, okay, let's put this on your thumb. And he was like, I refused. And got out of bed, took off, and he wouldn't let me anywhere near him. And I was like trying to be like, Enzo, this is what's best for you. We care about you, the whole thing, yada, yada. And then eventually I'm like, all right, TikTok, buddy. I'm going to tackle you, and I'm going to put this on your thumbs. But then I said, Allison, I feel like I'm going to handle this poorly. I think you should step in. And then I feel like you did a really good.
Yeah.
Well,
let's hear it.
She did a good job, but it's now 10:30. I'm recording this because it took her.
Does he have it on his thumbs?
Yes.
Because he asked for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You did some psyops.
I did some psychological operations.
I don't know what you did. How did you get him? Where the compromise was that you would get him water. You give him water every night. I
know. Well, so early when he was hysterical, I said, okay, I'm going to sweeten the pot. If you put that on your thumbs for 2 weeks, we'll take you to an amusement park. And he was screaming, no, that's not sweet enough, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. And
I like how he's negotiating.
And then I pulled up a video of the amusement park just to like get him excited. And then he was like, no, I don't care. It's not worth it. And I said, well, what if we invited your cousin to come? And he was like, so that sweetened the pot, but he still was hysterical. He went to bed. He would not. He kept
sitting there sleeping like this, like.
And then he was like, you stop forcing me. And I was like, I'm not. I just thought I'd give you the opportunity, like, to help incentivize you. And he was like, no. And then he came back out and got me out of bed and said, Mom, how about if you give me some ice water, I'll put it on my hands.
And is it bad that I'm thinking that he's going to take the cup of ice water, we're going to leave, and then he's going to go dunk his finger. I was certain he's going to dunk his fingers in it, scratch off the stuff, and then suck them. That's my fear.
He's asleep in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that was fun. Okay, but hold on. Can we talk about I feel we need to get the logistics set. So we're going to upload once a week through September. And we're going to upload them from a different YouTube channel. It'll be Colorosi Cast, which will hold all of if we do any other podcasts, they're all going to be on that channel versus the David Colorosi channel. Because since we're doing it together, I think it should be on the Colorosi Cast channel. So you can it's still called Shrink Wrapped. On your end, it won't make a difference, but that's where you go. Now, the book club. Are you doing that?
Yeah.
Because the book, I believe in the last video, the book club was due.
We were going to come up with a day this week. And you know what? The book was longer than expected. But it's completed, and I'm ready to do the book club. So I am traveling this week for work. But after this, I would say next week, we do it.
I think you need to give a date now.
Okay.
And it will be, so what we're going to do is, it's going to be on riverside.fm. I will put a link to the people that are going to be in the book club. I will send an email with a link to it. You just click on the link, and you will automatically go into the book club. And so it'll be a live streamed book club that we can record. I don't know if it'll be live streamed, but we're going to record the whole book club. If you sign on, if you're one of the people that get in, then you will have your own, like we're going to record it like it's a big Zoom meeting like you've probably done for work. This is just a little bit higher quality studio that you'll be in.
Mm-hmm. So I would say, what do you think about Wednesday at 10 p.m. Mountain?
Okay.
After the kids go to bed.
Wednesday, what day?
The Wednesday, the 28th, July 28th, 10 p.m. Mountain.
Wednesday, July 28th, 10 p.m. Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be there.
I will be there, and I will be awake.
Okay, so what I want you to do, and I'll link all this in the description below this video. But if we can only, via Riverside FM, we can only have 8 people in the conversation. So this is kind of first come, first serve. We have no idea how many people. There were a lot of people in the comments that wanted to do it. But we don't know how many people are going to want to do this. So if you want to be part of the book club, if you've read the book by next Wednesday, and the book is called what?
The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van Kolk.
So if you're gonna you got to read The Body Keeps Score by Bessel by next Wednesday. Just shoot me an email, and my email I'll link it below is davidcolrosi.phd@gmail, and it's our YouTube channel email. Let us know you want to be in it. First 7 in will get a link, and then you can log on and be part of the book club. People that don't make it, but you want to watch the book club, we're going to upload it like a regular video, and everybody can. I think we're gonna try and live stream it so people can watch and comment while we're doing the book club.
There's a lot of content there in that book. It's heavy.
In that book, yeah. And by the way, logistically, just like that whole thing that I just went through, I think that'll work, but have some grace. But it sounds cool, right?
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I'm excited about it. That book was heavy.
Yeah, so I only listened to the first, quarter of it? And we were driving to Montana, and I wanted to drive into oncoming traffic. Because I did, we got recommended, this is the greatest book of all time, and the first quarter of the book, I think it's like a psychology class. So I think I imagine that if you're new to psychology, then it's interesting. But if you have any kind of background in psychology or mental health, I feel like the beginning, he's making the argument that what happens in your life can affect you physically. You know, if you've been traumatized or you're under stress, that's unhealthy. And I was thinking, my God, this is a long book to make that point. But okay. You say that it evolves and gets a lot.
I think it evolves and gets a lot better.
Because we got to Montana, her mom recommended it, and she was.
I'm a little spicy sometimes. I got out of the car and I was like, Mom? And I called my friend that recommended it, and I was like, oh, I cannot believe you recommended this book. But now I actually really appreciate it. So, and I think your listeners will really appreciate it if you get past the first quarter of it.
And I think it was probably just felt redundant for us because it's sort of like the beginning feels like the curriculum of intro to counseling.
Yeah. But it gets better.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Just like a little piece of it. Our friend's mom has rheumatoid arthritis very bad. Never treated it. Never did anything. And in the book, they talk about people with rheumatoid arthritis that never complain about it or treat it. And when they did surveys of those people, those are the people that when they grew up, they were told as children to be seen and not heard. And so they never complain about, isn't that interesting? I feel like this is David's personality is to find flaws in every argument.
Just feel like my critique in the book, and I don't know if I'm going to attend the book club, so can I just complain about it?
You are attending the book club.
If there are 7 people,
they're going to want a psychologist.
If there are 7 people that want to be on it, then I'll be in the background. But let me just say this: I just don't know if Bessel does I don't know if he does a good job of making the connect. What he's like that study right there, which I think I heard that one. If he's going through and saying, look, we studied all of these people that had rheumatoid arthritis, and they were people that grew up, and they don't complain about it now, and they are also people that when they were growing up were told don't complain.
No, to be seen and not heard, as kids.
Which means don't complain, right? Don't be heard.
Or just don't be quiet.
Stuff it. Stuff your thoughts and opinions. Stuff it.
Yeah, like if we're at a dinner table, you just sit there and eat dinner. That's how I think of it.
I don't think he convincingly shows that that's the link to rheumatoid arthritis. I think you could probably argue that maybe that's the link to anybody that's of older age that suffers silently, that they could have been when they were kids told to be seen and not heard.
That's a good
but he's just studying this one population that has rheumatoid arthritis. If he were to have studied all adults that are in pain, and then only rheumatoid arthritis, and then only people that have rheumatoid arthritis displayed that behavior, then I would think that was more convincing. But you can't just study the population and be like, see, rheumatoid arthritis has a link to how you were treated as a kid. Because you could have cancer and be suffering silently, and it'd also be because you were taught to be silent as a kid.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't it feel like he's a little bit over... I feel like he's overstretching some of his... This is what we can discuss in the book club.
Yeah, we can discuss that. So please read it, and we are excited to discuss it. And I think it's going to be more fun with psychologists present. I hope another psychologist joins, because it'd be fun to have the battle of the psychologists.
Do you have a psychologist in mind?
No.
Oh. Okay. I thought you had like...
I don't know who's texting this late. Turn it off. Okay. So I have some funny topics I read about in psychology today that I thought you'd think were funny.
Okay, and then we have to make sure we talk about Britany Spears by the end of this.
Talk about that first, because we love Britany. She's doing great.
What? I don't mean to. I just want to make sure we remember to. I don't have to. I'm not trying to take over.
No, I'm happy to.
What do you think about Britany Spears?
I'm so happy she got to pick out her own lawyer.
But she's still in the conservatorship, right?
Yeah, but now she can now she'll have her own lawyer go ahead and go after the conservatorship. So she didn't have an attorney that could get her out of it.
At least that she didn't believe. She didn't believe the attorney was motivated in the right direction.
And it sounds like I was listening. Because I listened to deep things. It sounds like there was an attorney that has been following it and was like, "There's no way that this is not someone that is catatonic. That's someone that's working, which is what a conservatorship is meant to be."
I think the idea of the conservatorship is insane. I do think. I mean, I've done 2 videos on her. In the first video, we watched just like the Free Britany movements, a Netflix special, and so I was like, we haven't really heard from Britany. We don't know, does she like it or not? At that point, I felt like there was more, who knows? Maybe she really does need it. But then you hear this time when she comes out and does a 26 minute speech about how she wants out of it. I thought it was pretty sad, pretty devastating.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing is sad. I mean,
okay, so here's the question for you. Should she have more kids? In her speech, she said, look, I have an IUD. I want to take the IUD out. And and my father, the conservator, is saying that if I take it out, he's not going to let me have access to my money. So essentially, he is forcing her not to have children. Well,
you know that I disagree with you on this point.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Okay, so David, immediately when he put it in his video, I was like, who are you to say that you shouldn't? Who? What? And David's like, well, I don't think she should. And I was like, we do not know what is going on with her, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm the arbiter of, and you know what? I think this goes back to our assessments. Because, you know how I am, not a judgy person? I score really low on judgmentalness.
On irreproachability?
Irreproachability. Yeah. I feel like yeah, that makes me laugh because like I feel like you're judgier than me. Like, how do you know if she can have a kid? Like, we've spent 0 minutes with her. We only know what the paparazzi says. That's not fair.
Okay. Her
Instagram needs to go, though. I mean, because, like, she just twirls all day. She needs a new dance move.
First of all, I don't understand what's going on with her Instagram. We can talk about that in a second. Let's analyze her. We should do we can analyze her Instagram in a second. I think this kid thing is important. First of all, I think the idea of her not being allowed to take... So officially, my stance would be, of course she can have kids. Of course she should be allowed to have kids. And I think it's an absolute crime for her dad or the conservator or the courts to in any way incentivize her not to have kids. I think that's an absolute crime. She should be able to do it. Mm-hmm. Now, from a just sort of... take Britany Spears out of it. If you said to me, there is a person that's been in a conservatorship for 13 years, and if you said to me, that same person feels like she had, my assessment would be, from a psychological standpoint, I know that I think that she's been diagnosed historically as being bipolar. I don't think that's what you saw in her presentation. I think what you saw in her presentation was somebody who has been traumatized. I think she's been straight abused. I think she's had it totally been disempowered. So I look at her as someone who has PTSD and is under an incredible amount of distress, which is why she sounded the way she sounded when she spoke with the courts. So if you say to me, David, here is this person, she's of child rearing age, but you think that she's been recently traumatized and is under a great deal of distress. Is now a good time for her to have kids? No, I don't think it's a good time. She can do it. It's her right. I'm not saying the law should come in and stop her, but I think you want to have kids when you're on solid footing, and the poor woman has been locked up for 13 years. So that opinion for the Free Britney movement does not like that opinion, but that's the way I would view it. All right, give me your rebuttal. What do you think? Am I being judgy?
Yeah, I don't have a rebuttal, but like we really only see a snippet. I'm sure she's been traumatized, but I feel like that doesn't, like, you're never going to be complete. I don't feel like the majority of humans are stable in general. Like everyone, according to this book, I mean, seriously. But I mean, yeah. I don't feel like I feel like, I don't think it's for us to judge. Whatever, maybe she shouldn't, maybe she should, but like, I don't think you should put it in, like, as a psychologist, put it out there for her to hear. What if she heard that? That's even more traumatizing.
Can I tell you what I think I've been thinking about this. Like, what if...
She'd be so mad at you. I feel like she responded in one of your comments.
I don't think she did. Britany, give me a call. Well, I'm happy to talk. Okay, I did think about, like, well, what if... I don't think she does, but let's just say she actually watched the video. I hope what she would hear from me is, okay, I need to get out of this conservatorship, and I need to take a year to get on solid footing. I need to feel like I am in control of my life, and I have a sense of personal agency. I'm with the man I want to be with. There's not all this chaos around me, and then have kids. That would be my recommendation. I'm not saying it should be the law. Of course, she should be able to do whatever she wants to do. And you're right, I don't know her, so maybe it is a little bit judgy.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. All right, now let's talk about her Instagram. She has a team. Someone should be like, hey, Britany, this is bad luck.
Maybe, okay, hold on, but I don't mean to play devil's advocate, but maybe this is the only way she can express herself without her team.
Yeah.
But
man, it makes me feel like she needs her team, because those are so bad.
She needs a choreographer.
It's the same move, but and is it me that she always feels like her hair is all over the place, and I feel like her eye makeup's like always a little bit runny, and she's got bad camera view. It's like she's like one of the best dancers, best entertainers ever.
Well,
and she does that same twirl move like 4,000 times. I just don't get it. I mean, I will not. Well, I am judging, but I recognize that Britany is a far better entertainer than I am. So maybe she's got something going, and
I'd like to see her shake up her moves.
I really do feel like
you're part of hashtag Free Britany.
I'm definitely part of Free Britany, and I do feel like we are observing somebody that has been. I do feel like her development has been. She's almost 40 years old, and there's just like things that she does, the way some of her word choices, the way she describes things, the way she talks about her emotions, and then even I follow her Instagram, and like some of the things that she does just feels so immature to me. And I don't know if she's doing it, again, maybe it's from an entertainment standpoint. She's got to sort of, set a lower bar, but it's like depressing. Like if you compare, she's sophisticated, but it's like I want her to step into it and not just be aiming so low. Anyway, hashtag Free Britany.
Yeah.
Free Britany. All right, what else? I know you got a Psychology Today magazine.
I did, and I love Psychology Today. Okay, so I thought this was a really funny fact.
Okay.
Because you and I both like personal growth and self-development, as does some of our, our late mentors. Not late. I mean, they're still alive. We just don't really follow them as much.
What are you talking about? Oh, Rachel Hollis. Oh.
But in this study, they found that people that were too into personal growth ended up getting divorced. So, like, there's, like, a fine line. Like, personal growth is good for a relationship up until a point. But then after a certain point, it leads to separation. And you grow apart.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And
then, like, all these people are getting divorced. So there you go. They personal growth out of each other.
A lot of the people, like there's a lot of those authors that have had rough relationships.
Oh yeah, like right? Jen Hatmaker and
Glennon Doyle. Rachel Hollis. But now you could also argue that people that are searching out a ton of personal development stuff, maybe they have a crappy relationship to start, or maybe they're dissatisfied to start. That's why they're pursuing the personal growth stuff. And so maybe that's the reason why they're getting the divorces.
Yeah.
Not the consumption. Although I do feel like there is a certain threshold. I mean, the book I'm thinking of is like that Fed Up book. Have I told the story on here? I am actively cooking Allison dinner. And she's like, just like nagging at me. And I'm going, what in God's name is wrong with you? Like I didn't have an affair. I don't know what I've not stolen money, not cheating.
No, David, it is not about, I hate when you say affair. It is about the emotional labor.
As I was cooking her dinner, she's sitting right here at this table. I'm over there in the kitchen cooking dinner. And I go, what's going on? And she goes, I think it might be this book I'm reading. I go, what's it called? Fed Up. What?
I think my sister recommended it.
Okay, both of you need to back off those books. So I do think that if you consume enough of this like super polarizing content, yeah, you know what? I agree with that article now that I thought about that experience. It can push you too far.
Okay, so here's another tidbit from the magazine that I thought was The Art of Conversation. Did you know that most people, it's like 98% of people feel like the conversation ended too early when they're having small talk with people? And what I think is so funny is I always feel like the conversations go too long, but there's never a good match with conversation. So like two people, when they surveyed two people after a conversation, one person wanted it to keep going and the other person wanted it to stop, but they can never... It never marries.
It's probably the person that's talking about themselves that wants to keep going.
And the one,
like tired of the other one's like tired of listening, like yada yada. I feel like your threshold is I feel like there's a stopwatch when someone's having a conversation with you. Like no matter what I'm describing, she's always like, "Come on." I feel like I'm always talking too long. Is that true?
Yes.
on this podcast, like I'll be describing something, and all of a sudden she's like, just And I can just tell it. She's just like, she's gone. Like this topic, like right now, she's probably going like, okay, switch topics, moving on.
Exactly. Got to keep you on your toes, okay?
I did these videos. I try and do them in like 2 minutes, and Allison's like, that was way too long. I can't possibly listen. It's like a 3-minute video, and it's too long.
Get a clue. Okay. Okay. Do you want another fun fact?
Yep.
Okay, so I thought we read that suicide deaths were up between with COVID.
Yes.
Between 2019 and 2020.
Yeah.
But preliminary data says it's actually down 5.6%, but suicidal thoughts is up 20%.
Yeah.
But the actual people doing it is down. And one of their thinking, or one of the researchers thinking, is because although they're depressing and sad, there's like some camaraderie with like a pandemic, and like everyone's in it together.
Yeah.
And so that's why they think that actual deaths are down.
Yeah, I have so me and your brother and I have argued about this because I have a strong opinion the other direction. So my belief is that whenever they're looking at death data, it takes, especially with suicide, because no family wants to admit or acknowledge that it's been a suicide. So for everybody to be on the same page that it's a suicide takes longer than a normal death. And when they're looking at that data, they're looking at 2020, 19 to 2020? Mm-hmm. So it's just the first part of the pandemic. So if you think about, like, it takes them, I looked it up, it takes them something like 11 or 13 months to accurately describe suicide. So if they don't have that time period, that big study that came out was using some fuzzy, statistical technique to try and figure out what the actual data was around suicide. The reality is they just don't have it. And so I can imagine that when the pandemic first started, it's something new. So it's interesting. It's keeping people engaged. It's something that certainly the whole population is part of, so maybe you feel more alignment with that. And you probably have more parents that are home initially, so maybe there's a little bit more oversight. And so maybe there's some reasons why in the beginning there wasn't as much suicide. But to me, the suicide data, which I believe we will get, like I would love to have this conversation in 9 months from today. Because I think that in 9 months today, we will see that there has been a lot of suicide. I think that suicidal ideation is a leading indicator of suicide. And so I think if it's gone up 20%, and I've heard horror stories already about, when they're looking at that number, they're looking at suicide across populations. But I think if you split it, like, so for example, I read something the other day about teen suicide skyrocketing. So I think I would just say, let's just hold until we actually have all of the data, because it makes no sense to me long term that the suicide rate would go down by 5% this year, especially if suicidal ideation is up by 20%. Drug abuse is up. There's number of physical abuse. I strongly believe that those numbers are not accurate.
That would make more sense to me. Because it was like so horrible that I can't believe
it was
that.
Horrible, and I forget what the school was recently. It was like at the schools, I think it was in Vegas, they had like 4 suicides. There's all like little, certainly you can't just take like little anecdotal, this one community has an issue, but there's enough murmuring. And then when you have all the data coming out that suicidal ideation is up dramatically, that's predictive of something. I think it just takes time for the data to follow. And by the way, I would argue that we are still reeling from the pandemic. So I think that let's see what the suicide rate is in 2020 and also in 2021 and probably some in 2022 to see what the actual effect is. But I believe it will be devastating.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm flying somewhere where there's a mask mandate again.
Oh, in LA?
Mm-hmm. So crazy.
Okay, if you're Newsom, can we just talk about Newsom for a second? He's got to be bumming because it's not all of California. But Newsom's in a recall, right?
Right.
Do you know that? You probably know the politics better than I do. But Newsom's in a recall, and he's like trying to convince everybody, like, "Come on, guys, we're getting through the pandemic. Like, don't recall me." And then LA County goes into another mask mandate.
Their hospitals are.
Newsom's got to be unhappy about that.
I'm sure, but oh God, it's like never ending.
I thought you had there was an article that you were reading that was making you depressed about fidelity in relationships. Did you read that?
I did. What?
I thought that was interesting. It was
we'll
you depressed.
I want to bring it up next time because I didn't. It does make me depressed. It's about fidelity, and I get sad every time I read. I get sad.
She's very impacted by what she reads.
Anyway, I think we should call it.
Oh, okay.
And we look forward to the book club next week. So
it'll be what day? Let's just say it again. It'll be Wednesday,
the 28th, 10 p.m. Mountain.
And I will put links and stuff in the or I will send you links if you are one of the people that wants to be part of it. So if you want to be part of it, you need to email me and Allison. So we have or Allison and me. So we have your email information, and we'll send you directly the link to be on it.
All right.
And then Airbells can just watch live stream, 10 p.m. Mountain Time.
Oh, they can watch the live stream.
Yeah,
of it.
It'll live stream. Hopefully it'll be the 8 of you talking about the book, and then people on the side of the screen, I think, will be able to comment in and say, I thought the book was great, or Bessel sucks, or whatever. You can have a conversation about that.
I want to know what you have to say about it, like as we go deeper. You need to finish it by then. So anyway, thank you so much for joining in.
Thanks.